The most effective decisions are a skillful balance between thinking and feeling, cognition and intuition. What I call info-tuition. Info-tuition. Say it with me, info-tuition. Excellent. Now I know what you're thinking. Really? Intuition? You gotta be kidding me, right? So I'm here with my colleagues. I got up early. We're this highly educated group, and I'm here sitting here listening to an engineer talk about intuition? Really? That's okay. You see, what you're gonna discover is that this is not woo-woo. It's neuroscience. And it's grounded in 77 leadership interviews that I did with leaders about how they use intuition in their decision making. And it's grounded in my own professional leadership experience. You see, I had to learn to be info-tuitive. It was 1998. I was an engineer at the U.S. Department of Transportation, and it was going pretty well. I was in mid-management, and I had my sights set on the executive level. But those executives, they had something that I didn't have, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Now, at the same time, I was in a relationship with a textbook perfect man. Yeah. I knew he was textbook perfect because I had a list. But something was just off. So I made an appointment with an employee assistance counselor, and I will never forget the day of that appointment. I was a little bit nervous, but it was okay because I was dressed for success, suited up and buttoned up. I had my day timer. Remember day timers? And at the appointed time, I checked it off my list and marched quickly across the gray tweed carpet over to her office, where she was there waiting for me behind a gray metal desk. She was a little younger than I was, and she smiled as I came in, and she said, "Welcome, Shelley. How may I help you? What are you here for?" And I said, "Well, see, that's just it. I don't really know why I'm here. I mean, my career is going great. I've got this great guy. I mean, I can't think of anything that's wrong." And she said, "I'm not interested in what you think. I want to know how you feel." How I feel? You know, I'm going to need to think about that. She smiled patiently and said, "Use words a child would use. Happy, mad, sad, glad." This time, before I could think about it, I heard myself say, "sad." Sad. I feel sad. That moment changed my life. Not because I was sad, but because for the first time I began to sense the power and the validity behind how I felt. And it launched me on years of self-exploration and personal discovery in which I learned I couldn't think my way to success. Success would only come when I would think, feel, and act. And it did. In time, I made it to that executive level. In fact, I got my dream job. And you know what else? When I began to understand and pay attention to how I felt, I realized I was never gonna fall in love with that textbook. I got rid of that relationship and lickety-split, like we say in Texas. This other man shows up, and while he is so not textbook perfect, he is wonderful, and I married that one. I had to learn how to think, feel, and act, and that's what we're going to do here with you today. Here's the framework that we're going to use. There are copies of this on your table. It's designed as a takeaway so that you can remember the main points that are important to you. There's also a handout that's online for later that's also a reminder for you. So just briefly, here's what I learned from my research with the interviews. The decision making that the leaders did, it ranges from cognitive to intuitive. The more simple the decision, the more cognitive; the more complex the decision, the more intuitive. And the complexity of the decision is based on the number of variables from few to many. What we're going for is that sweet spot right in the middle. That's the infotuitive choice.